I'm Sonia. I'm so excited you guys are here today. Today I'm going to show you two really high protein salads. I feel like when people say, oh, I'm going to have a salad, I feel like sometimes there's a lot of extra calories, like heavy salad dressings, or just not enough protein to make a meal. So today I'm going to show you two salads that are going to be high in protein and they're going to be full of nutrients, high in fiber. They taste amazing. I know when I eat a salad for lunch or dinner, I also need to be high in protein. I train really hard most days, so I need my food to fuel me, just like it needs to fuel you. I'm going to have the recipes in the description box, as well as like a rough estimate of macros, because everybody's going to probably pick and choose exactly what they put into their salad. So I'm going to show you what I am doing, and I'm going to show you just a few alternatives down depending on how you make your salads. So I'm excited to show this to you. I know when I started this channel, it was like originally healthy, and then the pandemic hit. My family and me made a lot of fun family videos, but I'm trying to go back to how I originally started. If you see my first videos, it was all on health and fueling our bodies, and I'm trying to go back to that because about 80 to 90% of the time I eat extremely healthy because I train really hard. And I do believe that just because we want food to give us energy, nutrients, protein, it should also still taste amazing. So today I'm going to show you these two salads. I hope you subscribe. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. I made it. Subscribe right now before you forget, because I have a lot of really good food videos coming up. And next year I turn 50, and we're going to have a whole series of everything that you need to know as we get older, to getting our hearts a little healthier and all kinds of stuff. So, and I also need a name for that series. So I was thinking of either like, I don't know, Excited for 50, The Road to 50, I don't know. You guys think about it. Let me know if you have an idea down in the comments. Okay, let's get started with these salads. We're just starting our rice cooker and setting it to white rice. It is 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. If you guys don't have a rice cooker, you should get one. It saves so much time. Then we're going to be using the rice cauliflower from Trader Joe's. You can buy it anywhere. Basically, all you do is throw it into a pan and heat it up. Okay, now we're going to get started on the shell for the taco. I'm going to be using these Don Pancho Carbox. I actually like the La Banderita ones, but I couldn't find the big ones at the store. You could use any kind. And if you want to just use a regular flour tortilla, you can. I think the biggest thing is we're not frying them. I'm going to show you how to do them and make them in the oven so they're much healthier. And these, I like them because they're full of fiber, they're lower calories, like each one's only 70 calories. Now we're going to get started on browning them. You just want to spray it with, I used an avocado spray, but you could use an olive oil spray, any kind of spray you have. You want to make sure that they get golden brown on each side, then place them into an oven-safe bowl while they are still hot. You're going to take them and throw them into a 385-degree oven until they become hard. I believe it took about 14 to 18 minutes. You'll know they kind of become a little crispy. Then I'm taking some 93.7 lean ground beef and taking my favorite taco seasoning, putting them on top and letting it brown. My daughter is very sweet and made me some pico, which is really just tomatoes, cilantro, onions, and jalapeno. I have a slower video on how to make it step by step if you need it on my channel. And there's also cumin and salt, and then you toss it all together and it's ready to go. Now to get started on the cilantro lime rice. I'm doing 2 cups of the cauliflower rice and 2 cups of the regular white rice, and I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to also add in some cilantro, and I'm going to take my zester and get just a little bit of the lime on the outside. Do not get too much of the white part. You just want the outside green part. Make sure you wash them well, and then just add in a little bit of the juice, add a little bit of salt, and then mix it all together. And it tastes so good, you guys. If you haven't made it, you should try it. It really cuts down on your calories. Then I'm just going to use some canned black beans. I just want to show you they are full of fiber. Just drain them, threw them in a bowl, and heated them in the microwave. Now we're going to start putting together our bowl. It's a 1/2 cup of our rice mixture, 1/2 cup of beans. I did 1/4 cup of the pico, and 6 ounces of meat, which I know seems like a lot, but if you are actually needing protein, you need quite a bit. I like the Tostitos queso. It's actually only 40 calories for 2 tablespoons. And then I added in just about 1 ounce of avocado on top. You could mix with the pico if you also want to make guac. And now for a grilled steak panzanella salad. This is literally my family's new favorite salad. My daughter just can't get enough of it. Let me show you how to make it. For the pickled vegetables, you really only need about a half a cup of the red onion. I actually almost double this amount, so I will have the recipe down below. Then you're going to also need some radishes. And you just want to make sure that you actually wash them and take off the ends. And then I have one of these kind of graters that are so easy to do, but if you don't have one, you could also use a box grater, or if you really didn't have any kind of grater, you could actually just cut them into small pieces by hand. Then you're going to also need some carrots, and I will put the measurements down in the description box. I did make way more than I needed. Probably you only actually need about half a cup each, but we wanted a whole lot left over. Now the recipe I have made is only for half a cup of it because I actually did way more than that. I figured I probably doubled it. I did a cup. And then you're going to also need 3 tablespoons of sugar and about 1/4 cup of water. Then you're going to also need some cherry tomatoes, about 3 cups after you had cut them in half. You really need 2 cups, but I am making this recipe bigger. Then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of garlic and 2 teaspoons of thyme. Now, I had a little more time and I really love thyme, so I did a little more. Then you're going to need about 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. You're also going to need some olive oil. Doesn't matter what kind you use. I just want to show you what I did. And you're going to need about 1/4 cup. I tried it and it wasn't salty enough, so I just added a little more salt. This is going to be the salad dressing for your salad, so make sure you try it. For the bread, today we're going with this rustic Italian loaf that I found at Costco, but you could also go with a ciabatta. That's what I usually use. A sourdough would give it a little bit of tang, but also good. So pick your favorite one. I like a ciabatta, but this is what I had at Costco and I didn't have time to drive around for one, but this is going to work just fine. You're probably only going to need about a half a loaf, depending on how many basically like little croutons you want. Then we're going to cut them up into just little cubes. I always like to make a little bit extra. You're going to spray it with your avocado spray, olive oil spray, whatever you have. Put a little salt on it and then a little bit of pepper. I do probably about, I don't know, a teaspoon of each or so. And then I mix it around, spray a little bit more spray, do a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. And then I'm going to pop them to the oven to 400 for about 15 to 20 minutes, and about halfway through, toss them just a little bit until they become golden brown. For the steak, you could use a flat iron steak, a sirloin. We're looking for something lean. I'm going to be using a flank steak today, and I'm going to go ahead and cook it all off. You probably only need about a pound to a pound and a half. Pound and a half of meat, but I am going in and I'm cooking off all this flank. You're going to need to rub it with some paprika, some salt, and some pepper and get it all rubbed in. I would actually kind of massage it into your meat, and then we are going to throw it onto a hot grill. You want to make sure it's nice and hot. Go ahead and cook your meat off. And yes, I can tell the temperature by touching it, even though someone on my last short said no, it doesn't work. I can do it. Look, perfect. 145 degrees just by learning how to touch my steak. The exciting part, we are going to put this all together. You're going to need some spring mix. This one says herbal mix, same things, from Trader Joe's. You're going to also need some arugula. We are going to, if you have picky eaters, you're probably going to toss each salad, you know, one at a time, depending on what they want. Or if you have people that get along and you want to just put it all together, you can toss it all, like if you're having people over. The only thing I probably do separately is also the meat, because I want to weigh my meat and make sure I'm getting a certain amount. And like my daughter, she's not going to eat quite as much as meat as I am. One more thing, you're going to need some basil. I actually have a garden that's like full of all my herbs. You're going to need about 1/4 cup, give or take, depending on how much basil. I did separate them into each little leaf, and we are just going to toss them into the mix. Fun part, we're just putting it all together. We're putting in our arugula, our spring mix, our croutons, our basil, and our cherry mix. And now we are just going to toss everything all together. Luckily, my husband was already home for this point. That's why you see my man hands in there. He was happy to help me with this last part so I could film it and he could put it all together for us. We do chop up our steak and we do weigh it individually. This was for me and I needed about 6 ounces, and then we just put it together in the bowl. We put our lettuce and cherry tomato mix down. We put our steak, and then we take those pickled vegetables and throw it on top. You guys, this tastes amazing. I hope you guys give both of these salads a try. My favorite is definitely the steak panzanella. I like them both, but it's like a new recipe and we just cannot get enough of it at our house. I hope you give them both a try. You subscribe, and next week I will be back with some new healthy recipes.